Just when you thought that India were going to be runaway winners in this test match being played in Pune versus South Africa, South Africa had a rearguard action. That ninth wicket partnership of 109 runs between Keshav Maharaj and Vernon Philander, that is what has propelled them to 275. They were eventually all out, all thanks to R Ashwin picking up 4 wickets. 3 wickets there going to Umesh Yadav. As far as the scorecard is concerned for South Africa, the runs there for Keshav Maharaj as well as Faf du Plessis getting some runs under his belt, 64, before he was also dismissed by R Ashwin. I'm Nikhil Nas in the company of Ajit Agarkar. You are watching ESPNcricinfo Matchday. Right, South Africa 326 runs behind after India piled on 601 for 5, declaring their first innings. Ajit Agarkar, the million-dollar question before we get into the nitty-gritties: will India enforce follow-on or not?
Oh, I don't know. I thought they'd done away with follow-on in Test cricket.
Yeah.
No one seems to be
it's completely out of
teams
trend.
follow-on, but I think that there's a chance they would now. If they had to bowl tonight, you don't quite know, because a lot of captains are averse to this idea of not giving their bowlers enough rest. Just over 100 overs bowled by India. You've seen that before. In olden times, you didn't even think if there was a chance of giving follow-on. Teams just went for it. There have been a couple of examples where teams have come back. I don't think that will be the case with South Africa, especially with that many runs behind and 2 days to play and with the way they've batted. So, yeah, I'd be very surprised if it doesn't. Now that his bowlers have got an overnight's rest, plus 5 bowlers in this 11 as well for India. Some of the seamers haven't had that much of a bowl. Sitting here, you think that he would. We've seen in recent times a lot of captains have not wanted to give that follow-on, but he should, I think, with the way India's got that overnight rest now, and a little bit of freshness in the morning, and the pitch is getting worse. You could see the spinners with the new hard ball will create enough chances.
I mean, also you tend to take a look at the match situation. What is the worst that could happen to the Indian team? Probably a draw. That is also if South Africa bat out of their skin. So that is something that might just propel them for giving that follow-on.
Yeah, I don't think they would be thinking of a draw. 326 is a lot of runs. I mean, South Africa haven't scored that in their first innings. We've seen the batsmen make enough mistakes. Yes, when the ball got softer and older and a couple of batsmen applied, you saw it was a little bit difficult, but they have the necessary resources. The pitch will keep getting worse as the game progresses. There will be a bit more reverse swing on offer, maybe a little bit earlier in that second innings if India do decide to bowl tomorrow. But just because they've had this rest now, tomorrow the bowlers will be fresh. 5 bowlers in that team spinners have done a lot of bowling, but they've had an overnight's rest as well, and plus they will get another few overs of a couple of hours at least if the seamers do bowl well. Rest in the morning, so I don't necessarily think they'll be tired, especially if they've had overnight rest. So look, I don't know whether he will, but I hope he does, because I think India should put South Africa back in. Some of the batsmen are low on confidence, and put them back in early morning tomorrow and put pressure on them.
All right, just when you thought that the Indian bowlers would dominate this particular day, it's been even, Steven, all thanks to the partnership there between Vernon Philander and Keshav Maharaj. 109 runs that they added. I'm sure they can't match up to the top order as far as skills are concerned, but surely in terms of determination, there is a thing or two that probably the top order can learn from these two guys.
Yeah, incredible actually. I think firstly the top order, they need to get their numbers right. I think Faf du Plessis batting at number 6. We said it after the first test or the preview to this game. I mean, you want your leader to show you the way. You saw when the ball's a little bit older, it is a bit easier to bat. Then why not come in at number 3 or 4, even De Kock 4 for that matter, the experienced guys showing the way and making life easier for Bavuma and someone like De Bruyne, who looked all at sea at number 3. So a bit strange for me, to be honest, that he's batting as low as he is, because that 60 really has no meaning in the context of the game if South Africa go on to lose that game. But if he does bat as well at number 3 or 4, might give the others an opportunity with slightly tired bowlers and a softer ball to then build an innings. So I hope that happens in the second innings, because the leader needs to show the others how it's done, and batting at the top of the order where it is been difficult for South Africa. You've got to give a lot of credit to how Maharaj and Philander went. I think Philander being had a couple of zeros in the first test, looked that first 25-30 balls wanted to get off the mark, looked uncomfortable. Jadeja's got him a few times in Test cricket, but just fought through that at that point, and then after a point just looked quite comfortable at the crease. And Maharaj, you've got to have a special mention. You know, you could see every time he played a shot, his shoulder hurt or whatever injury he's carrying from yesterday wasn't comfortable, but fought his way through it, and at one point looked really comfortable. In fact, looked like they would go into or end today's play with 8 down till Ashwin got him out. So really good. You know, there have been a couple of good performances in both tests. That partnership of de Kock and Elgar in the first one, and this partnership where South Africa have shown fight. Unfortunately, it hasn't been as much as they would have liked throughout the test match.
On a rare guard action there by the South African team, but one mustn't forget that at the end of the day, India did manage to get all the 10 wickets, and mainly because of the performance of Umesh Yadav and R Ashwin. We're going to talk about these two standout performers for India. Let's start with Umesh Yadav. A total of 3 wickets that he's got over the 2 days, because India bowled yesterday as well. Would you think he was under bowled? I mean, what, 13 overs in 90 plus overs that India has bowled so far?
I thought so. I mean, you as a captain, sometimes you look at who your best bowlers are in that particular innings or on a particular day, and you kind of back them. I think when South Africa lost as many wickets as they did, or whatever, 8 down at one point, perhaps Virat thought that, you know, he is likely to give them follow on. In fact, today maybe keep his seam bowlers fresh, but the spinners couldn't get Keshav Maharaj and Philander out, and then eventually he had to bring them back. Yeah, he could have bowled both Shami and Umesh earlier when they were 8 down. It's hindsight, you know. At that point, it was going so well for India. Ashwin looked like getting a wicket every ball in that particular spell where he got Faf when he was set and playing so well with a really good ball. That Virat must have thought that you don't need to get his seamers. It turned out to be a lot more difficult, and once they were set, they looked comfortable against the seamers as well, even though it was reversing a little bit. And Umesh and Shami bowled a couple of short but decent spells. But once the batsman set, it doesn't matter how well you bowl, it's always difficult to get him out. So maybe he missed a trick there, but I think there was a little bit of logic to it, because he was looking at 2 wickets with the way the innings had panned out. It looked like all going India's way at that point, so you won't hold too much against him. The one good thing is Umesh will be fresh in the second innings, and he's bowled really well in this first one.
All right, plenty of overs there for R Ashwin. Sometimes you just take a look at the number of wickets that he's picked. 4 wickets, all right, but I have to say the most 4 crucial wickets that he could have picked. 2 guys who were, you know, at that moment threatening to take the game away from India. You had de Kock and Faf du Plessis build a partnership, getting the 2 of them out, and then the tail, which seemed like they might just back this day out, he gets that crucial wicket as well.
Yeah, it's just quality. I think again, it's important to stress. I know there's a lot been spoken about how the pitches have been over the last few years, but this is not a pitch where you just have to turn up as a spinner and you get wickets. I think you've still got to work hard, and you've got to have the necessary quality. I mean, there were 2 spinners on show today, and you could clearly see the difference in the quality when the pitch doesn't afford you a lot of help, and Ashwin clearly has that. I mean, that particular over to Faf was, you know, tells you why he's got 350 plus test wickets. You know, bowling the same sort of lines, getting couple to spin and then 1 to straighten, and a guy who's batting on 60 odd and a really good player to nick off when he's set tells you the quality of the guy. And you know, that's why I was a little bit surprised that he didn't get a bowl yesterday evening at all. Maybe might not have made a difference. India still got 3 wickets, but he should still be your first choice. I think Virat, I'm sure Virat knows that, and tomorrow or whenever the second inning comes along, he'll obviously get the ball before Jadeja in hand.
All right, we'll have to just wait and watch, as Ajit says. We don't know when the second innings will come along. Will Virat Kohli give the follow on or not? That is the $1 million question. We'll see you again now at the end of day 4 of the test match being played in Pune between India and South Africa.